I'm guessing that's how this thing has worked. My first time on live, so thank you all ahead of time for joining. I'm so far out of my comfort zone right now, so just bear with me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, although there's a lot of discomfort just in sharing and being vulnerable regarding my mental health journey. This is what I asked for. I asked for an opportunity to help others regarding their mental health and their wellness. And this platform, new platform that I'm on, is going to allow me to do that. A lot of my motivation stems from my own personal story. 6 months into my retirement, I began ruminating on my life and what the direction that it was taking. And I got uncomfortable. I got uncomfortable with being comfortable. I think for the first time in my adult life, I didn't have the motivation to excel at anything, and it caught me off guard. And I was doing everything I could to just kind of get rid of that feeling of emptiness. You know, I attended an NFL development program that was designed to help with the transition. I was already enrolled in real estate classes with the ideal of thinking real estate was going to be the thing that filled me up. It didn't. And I was lucky enough to land a position with that Gamecocks Athletic Department, which allowed me to be around the game, allowed me to be around kids, and yet still it wasn't enough for whatever reason. Without the distraction of the competition of football, I was absolutely miserable. And it wasn't because I actually missed playing. I had ample opportunity to continue my career, but I decided against it because my skills had diminished too much. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I still had a hunger to excel and be great at something, but I didn't have an appetite for anything in particular. So I focused on my health and wellness. I continued my workouts and tried to be an active listener for the student athletes at USC. And just regarding their future ambitions, hoping that vicariously some of that energy would rub off. And gave it my best effort, just wasn't enough to fill me up, but I do hope I was an asset to those student athletes. But at one of the NFL programs that I attended, I ran into a former teammate who I respected greatly, and I just told him about my lackluster demeanor and basically asked for some advice on how to handle what I was dealing with, and asked if he had any experience with it. And he said something that was profound to me, and it kind of still sticks with me to this day. I'm going to read it because I don't want to misquote it, because it was powerful for me. And it's kind of the thing that got me going in this direction. He said, Goody, for somebody who has given their all to something, there is a sadness that comes from knowing that your all might not ever be required again. Not in that manner, at least. He said it's extremely disturbing because your all is what makes you who you are. And I tried to digest exactly what he was saying. I began to make sense out of it, and it started to petrify me a little bit. Football did get my all. It required my all. There was a structured routine about it. It required commitment, required discipline. Every day of my adult life, I knew I was being evaluated based on my production, and it drove me to be at my best at all times. And that was enough for me. Like that energy was enough for me. As a redshirt freshman at USC, August of 1998, this is before my knee injury, we were in the middle of training camp, 2 days, and I remember crossing Bluff Road, headed to the second practice, and I remember how fatigued I felt. I remember being physically drained. But the thing I remember most just in that moment as I was crossing Bluff Road was how excited I was about the opportunity to hone my craft and excel at the thing that drove me. And that was enough to kill all my fatigue. It's something about trying to be great at something that is enough to make you ignore what you're actually feeling regarding obstacles and challenges. It's because there's an internal drive that if you relate, you relate. Some people never get to experience what I'm talking about, just in terms of that drive to thrive at life in general. And I consider an overarching theme for my football career was it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. Not because it didn't get my best effort, it did. And I was satisfied with my effort, but if football was going to be the thing that defined me, I knew I didn't do enough. And I knew I didn't want it to be the thing that defined me, but I was lost in exactly what that thing was going to be. And I needed a platform to redeem myself. I will be the first to admit that my expectations are very unrealistic. But God. If you've ever experienced the power of God, it's very addictive. And when I say God is the source of everything I am, it's not rhetoric. There is a peace and a strength that comes from knowing you're on your right path. Like your soul starts to ignite, and although you know you'll never be worthy, the desire to be worthy is worth the chase. In 2017, I sat alone in my office in the basement of William Brice Stadium, contemplate my next move, whether I would use the current position as a springboard to continue with my comfortable life, or if I would just take a wrecking ball to it all and throw away everything I had built to that point, to a certain extent anyway. And from a metaphorical standpoint, standing at the peak of my life, I took a leap of faith just to escape the emptiness that I was feeling, and it spiraled into an endless freefall. I had no real vision of what I was going to do. I was completely blindfolded and terrified, but at the very least, it created the opportunity at a second chance at greatness, and I knew that would require the best of me, and that was enough for me. I donated my salary back to USC. I told the coach that I was moving on to nothing, basically. And with my delusional self-belief, I knew that I would land on my feet somehow. This is the platform in which I landed. I regained my passion. I'm excited to share my story with you all. It's been a roller coaster, and it starts in the pit of a bunch of repressed memories. And I went with the maybe I'm ill title because maybe I am ill, delusional in my divine belief. Only time will tell. But when you're spiritually connected to a life of purpose, your spirits catch fire. And I will say, I think I found my calling. And I'll continue to update you guys as I go, as I get more comfortable being on this public platform, being on social media, engaging, shying away from the social anxiety that I've had my whole life. I ask that you all share my information, and I ask that you all keep me in your prayers because I'm definitely in deep waters without a life vest. To God be the glory. Thank you all for listening, and if you have questions, I'm free to answer. And this is a complete freestyle for me, and I could not be more excited, and I could not be more scared, and I could not be more nervous, and I could not be more driven. So I know I'm exactly where I belong. No questions. If there are, again, I don't know how to skim through this stuff. Catch me next time. You guys will decide the topics that I continue to talk about. I got a whole bunch of content because it's been a 14-year journey. I retired in 2012. And today is the brand new beginning of something that I would have never envisioned myself doing. But this is 10 times more motivating than football ever was because it feels tied to my purpose. And it's going to get my best because it requires my best. And I'm looking forward to the journey. Thank you all for joining. Goody out.